Welcome back to the Handy Landlord. So here we are. Ignore the garage. I know it's a mess. This is my Ridgid K400 drain machine, and I have successfully tangled my cable. It's probably one of the #1 comments that I get a cable replacement video that I have on this machine. I have owned this machine for a very long time. It's been great. I've had 0 problems out of it. Knock on wood, I guess. I throw it in and out of my truck, kind of abuse it. Here's the cable. You can see it is massively tangled in there. It should not look like that. So I want to show you guys how to fix this problem. First thing I'm going to do is remove this tip off of here. I should put some gloves on. This for me is a 7/16. Your cable might look a little bit different because I have switched this cable out to, I forget what the end of this is, but basically there's just a nut on there on the end. So your cable might still be the rigid cable, and the same rules will apply. Remove as much of the end as you can. Man, I hate releasing these vice grips. Grab the cable and start pulling it out, trying to free up some space in there. So this one's giving me a hard time. I went ahead and loosened this bolt, loosened this Allen right here, and took this off. Took these 2 bolts out right here, down here on the bottom. Those 2 bolts out, pulled off this setup. Now, I've never done it this way, but I'm not able to get the cable out of the drum, so my next step is to basically start taking things apart and get this thing out of here. So now I'm going to take these screws out of here. This is definitely my first time doing this, but have no fear. The Handy Landlord is here. Try to get it. See what we can do. I think this entire drum will actually pop off of here now. Have no fear. The Handy Landlord is here. Okay, so it just slips on there. That's probably good to grease that anyways. Alright, cool. Oh, okay. Alright. Alright, here you go. So you gotta turn this thing. You have to spin this black piece right here. You have to spin it to where you can get it out. Okay, that makes sense. Alright. Get this thing out of the way. So I went in just like that. I don't think there's any way to really reverse that. Alright, cool. Alright, so right now, here's all my parts. Not too bad. Now let's see if we can get this thing out of here. It's not too bad to take apart. Basically, I'm just gonna keep pulling this cable out of here. My son's yelling at me from his bedroom window, asking if I'm frustrated. My goal right now is to get as much of the cable out of the drum as I possibly can. Alright, I just took these all the way off. that's what way the cable's going. Making a little bit of progress here. I have both ends of the cable now are out of the drum. Now I just need to get this section out. So yeah, it's been
I've already knotted the cable, I can see it. Come on.
I mean, if they made these holes any smaller on the sides, it'd be great. I mean, it would just be really helpful if they would make them a little smaller. Right there is my problem. Right there. Okay. So you can see it just knotted up in there. It's next to impossible to get out, but a little bit of patience and you can get it out. Okay, now I need to put it back together. So this piece goes in first. And this piece slides in. This was the tricky part when I took it apart, and then you turn it and line up the screw holes. There are 3 Phillips head screws that go in here. I have this tub of all-purpose wheel bearing grease. I'm going to grease up. I'm gonna grease up inside of here. I should have greased up that metal piece before I stuck it in there, but it'll be all right. Makes sense to me for that to be lubricated. I think I kind of want to put it all back together and then put the cable in. I would think that this could use a little bit of grease too around here. All right, now this piece does have a spot. It has a stop, but the screw does go into a certain spot. Ah, it's ½ inch. All right, let me see if I can just. All right. There we go.
It looks just like hair gel. It looks just like hair gel.
I'm also, yeah, it does look like hair gel. I'm also lubricating this, and I lubricated this shaft right here. There's a couple of washers, putting some lubricant on those.
Am I going to play in the rain with me?
And then putting that back on there. That should help it. I can't see it hurting. On the back side of here, there are 2 holes that you line up with this pin. I don't know if you can see it yet right there. See that hole in there, black piece? And go in there just like that. Okay, I have the drum back on. Now I need to mount the cable inside of the drum. You can see, so the cable direction goes down and around this way, if that makes sense. Alright, so now I need to find the 2 screw hole spot, which is right there, is where I need to mount the cable to. Take these 2 flathead screws, slip them in from the back, and this piece goes on, this little piece right here. Alright, so right there is a shot of the bracket. Started both of the screws in the bracket. Then you slide the cable through the bracket and tighten up the screws, and that secures the cable to the drum. Hold on just a second, bud. I'm trying to get this done real quick.
I need to see if you want me to carry you outside so you can play with me.
Alright, now I can start feeding in the cable. All right, I have the good majority of it fed in right now. That's what you want. See how the cable is all against the sidewalls? That's what you want right there. So I'm trying to get you some shots here, but that's what you want. You want the cable all against the sidewalls, not crisscrossed, all inside, just, yeah, all against the sidewalls, all wrapped around. Watch this, this metal piece, right? This metal piece right here, you want to see it keep spinning whenever you are feeding your cable in, and if it goes back the other way, you don't want that. You want it to keep going counterclockwise if you're looking at the machine. Right here I have a pretty good little kink, so let me see if I can. A little better. It's not perfect. There's another one. Done. Back in business. I'm good to go. Gotta tighten up a few bolts. That's it. And don't forget to tighten up this Allen right here. Don't forget to tighten up that Allen right there. But tighten up this bolt, and got the cable back in there. I probably will still buy a new cable, but right there is the process. Back in business, baby. Back in business. Now, a lot of times I will just squirt some transmission fluid in there, and that helps keep the cable lubricated. But I do have this special stuff that's supposedly for